So I just wanted to show you what the battery looks like. Of course, you know what it looks like on this. So this is your battery. It's a Sony BPU30. They make a 60 and a 90. They're just bigger batteries and they last longer. So you have the silver connector points that go down. So it just fits in here like this and up and down. So it locks in. And then if you push the button on the back of the battery, it tells you what the status is on the battery, how much battery time is left. And then to get it out, all you have to do is push this in and pop up on the battery and it comes right out. Easy to do. So it's probably a good idea down the road here for you guys to get another battery for this. They're a little expensive. You can get some off brands, but usually what I find is paying for the off brands is a little bit cheaper up front, but they don't last as long. So just wanted to show you a couple connectors in here real fast. We took a look at the audio connector here. And you can see that, again, this is called an XLR connector. It's a 3-pin XLR cable that most professional microphones come in. And this just pops right out. Again, be careful of these. You can see the XLR 3-pin there. And to get the XLR, it's important that you know this. To get the XLR pin out, you push this up when you're pulling it out. So when you're pulling the cable out, you push this little pin up and then pull the cable out. Otherwise it won't come out. That's a locking pin. And then on the side here, you can see input 1 and also you have line mic and 48 volts. So depending on what you're doing. Now if you're doing an internal mic on this, it doesn't matter where that's set at. And then right above that here, you'll see a little connector. Let me see if I can show you that. This little connector right here, this is where your hand grip plugs into. This is the remote for your hand grip, and it actually says remote, I believe. And then right up above that there is your connector for your viewfinder that plugs in. It only plugs in one way, so be aware of that. Let's take a look at your handle. Now this is a really cool handle. The top handle is okay, but this hand grip on the side, Sony has put a lot of time into and has done a really nice job with this handle. You can see as I flip it around, it's got a number of different buttons on it, some assign buttons, and a record button. And let me show you this real fast. So this is a record on and off button here. This is assign button number 5, and I think we're going to switch that to peaking when we change this in the menu settings. And this is really cool here. This is a toggle switch, and let me come down on my iris a little bit so that I don't blow this out. This is a toggle switch, so you can use this to toggle up and down in the menu, right and left into the sub menus, and select different things. Set up right now for direct menu, and direct menu allows you to use this little thumb scroll to change a number of different settings in the viewfinder, ISO, f-stop, shutter speed and stuff without actually touching the side of the camera. It basically puts them into like an auto mode almost. So we're not going to use that right now. I want you to get into the habit of using some very specific things for these first couple assignments. So look at the menu video and you'll see how we change that. Number 5 goes to peaking, and you'll see how to use peaking. Now there's also a knob here on this viewfinder that you should be aware of too. And this is a reposition release knob. And you can, when you do this, let me come out so you can see this. When you push in this little knob here on top, this knob, little lever, push it in, and then you can turn this completely around. It doesn't go 360, but it goes 180. And so you can then change it so that when you're holding the camera angle, you can change it so that it's most comfortable. If it's more comfortable to hold the camera like that to you, if it's more comfortable to hold the camera like that, it's really up to you. And again, this camera is really meant to be kind of a run and gun camera. So to be handheld, unfortunately, we're shooting most of the stuff that in this month's class as on sticks. So just be aware of that. A couple other buttons on here you should be aware of. Number 4 is your focus magnification knob. And that is allows you to electronically go in. You hit that button and it electronically puts the viewfinder in a 4x or 8x magnification to help you focus a little better. Now in the menu setup video, I'm going to have you change that to 8x only, because it's easy to hit that accidentally because it's on the handle, and put it into 4x and not know you're recording zoomed in. It won't record zoomed in, but you will think you're framing for it being zoomed in. And then right next to that is a servo zoom button, wide and tight again, and we're setting that for a variable speed in the menu settings, so that you can the harder you push, the faster it goes. The slower you push, the slower it goes. The softer you push. And then this is a scroll wheel here that we'll set up for iris. You can set this. This is an assignable scroll wheel. You can do iris, you can do focus, you can do ISO and gain, and I think a couple other things on that. And then finally, hidden way back here on the camera, it's really hard to see. We'll see if we can adjust this so that you can see it. It's going to be really difficult to see. Maybe it can bring it down like this and you can kind of see over the lens. Hold on one second. Nope, it's going to be really difficult to see this. Because it's hidden so well. There's a button back here, right here on the you can barely see it there. There's the button right there. If I put my finger underneath it, it's right there. Button number 6, and it's an assignable button again. And we're going to set that up for the grid marker, your guide frame. So it's a rule of third grid. So a couple other things about this before we go. Just want to mention to you again that you can put this viewfinder anywhere you want. It can easily come off, unscrew here, and you can. It's got a long enough cable that you can actually put it at a variety of different places. It can come all the way back here, and it can mount in these 1/4-20 mounting holes. Now on your package, you also got a clear screen that would go on that viewfinder. I would recommend you put this clear screen on that. You can flip this. It can flip around different ways. On your viewfinder itself, there's actually an on and off, on and high. Just be aware of if you have it to high, it's going to take up a little bit more. I'm sorry, it's just on and off. And then on the bottom, there's another switch on the bottom here. Let me kind of show you this. And this is to rotate the screen, because if you flip it in the back here, you can, it's bottom, top, and rotate. You can flip it by flipping this off, and then bottom, top, rotate. You can see it if I flip this on here. Come out so you can see. And I flip this, you can see how it rotates left to right and top. So pretty easy to see that. The other thing is Sony did a pretty good job with this handle of putting these screws in, so you can easily unscrew it and screw it. You've got a number of different clampers, cable clampers is what they're called here and here. Here's another place to mount your strap if you're going to mount your strap there. Also, you can see here, there's this little knob right here. And let me zoom in on this so you can take a look at this, because a lot of people are going to be asking about this and what it is and why it's there. Well, if you're working on a film set and you have an AC and he's pulling focus, a lot of times what he'll do is he'll actually take a tape measure and measure the distance from the focal plane of the camera out to the actor. And so this little mark here is actually showing you where the focal plane of the camera is. And this little metal adapter here, you actually loop the end of the measuring tape on that and pull it out away from the camera so it holds the camera. That's a basic overview of the camera. Again, we'll be coming out with a more detailed, professional looking version, but we just wanted to get this out this week so you'd have something to watch while you're setting up your camera.